Hi, good day everyone. So this video is a representation of the PSM Excel class that we had a few months ago. If you remember, I did a screen recording then, but there was no audio in that video. So this is a quick edit. The timestamps have been added, and then this is a walkthrough of what we did on that day. So I'll just quickly go to it. This is the video PSM Excel class. And if you see the timestamps are added, so you can quickly go into each one. You can see that what we did were just basic Excel functions, calculations, pivot table, and charts. So even without this, you can just Google or search on YouTube for videos showing this and look through them. So now let's get started. So the first thing is removing duplicates. You can see the steps that they took. Go to data, data cleanup. From data cleanup, you go to remove duplicates and it removes them. That's just it. So first data cleanup, remove duplicates. Then you click this, check this box if they are header rows. So now let me show you that on the sheet. Go to data cleanup, remove duplicates. This pop-up shows up. Now in this pop-up, you click this, you check this box if you have header rows. The header row is this row that contains start time, stop time, start station ID. So the names of the columns. So you go to the first row. If there's a header row, you check this. If there is no header row, you uncheck, and then you remove duplicates. As you can see, no duplicates was found because this is the sheet that we used already. So that is that for removing duplicates. So the next thing that was done, creating a filter and removing blanks. So let's go to creating a filter. The steps are going to data. First of all, you highlight the column where you want the filter to show up. So that's column A. Click on this A here and it highlights the column. Then you go to data, click on create a filter, and that's it. Filter has been created. So once you create a filter, you see that there's a small, let me go full screen. There's a small drop down arrow right here. So that is for creating a filter. And then removing blanks. Blanks are cells that don't have any data in them. So any cell that does not contain anything, we made a blank here because there was no blank in this sheet. So they deleted the content of this cell to make a blank. And then they clicked on this drop down arrow, this filter, and went here to select blanks. Without creating a blank, you will not see this blank option. So that's why we have to create one. We created a blank, they selected the blanks option, and then they okayed it. And let's go into the sheet and quickly do that. So it creates a blank. There's a filter here. I'm sure you remember the steps of the creating a filter. Highlight this column, go to data, click on, because there's a filter, is remove. But since I've removed the filter now, create a filter. So whichever way, go to data and click the filter option. Now the filter is here, and you can tell by this drop down arrow. You see the blanks here. Now the default setting is for everything to be checked. So what you do is that you need to clear everything first before you now select blanks. Okay, so that's what was done there. So you select blanks and click OK. And now you can highlight this row and delete it. The only row that has a blank, you can delete that row. If you want to get your sheet back to how it was, you click on this same filter icon and go and select all the default setting and click OK, and everything shows up again. So that is it for this option. So creating a filter and removing blanks. Now let's go down to the calculations. Creating a new sheet. Before we get to the calculations. To create a new sheet, it's quite straightforward. See this plus at the bottom left corner. Okay, let me go to my sheet so it's clearer. You can see it here. Just click plus. A new sheet is created. Click this drop down arrow here to rename the sheet. That's what you do to create a new sheet. That's for creating a new sheet. Next thing is mean, median, maximum, and minimum. Now for the mean, in Excel, it's average that is used. Okay, so you start every function with equal to, then you now go to average. Then you choose the cells that you want the function to apply to. In this case, you choose M2, this is M2 to whatever. But the problem is the data that is being used is in MBBS sheet. As you can see down here, there are two sheets. We created this new one, descriptive statistics. But the data that we want to get the average of is in MBBS. So you have to find a way to reference that data and pull it into this one. So that this formula is on this sheet, but it's pulling data from MBBS. So remember the way this formula is currently is equal to average, then bracket open, M2, which is the starting point, to M16842, which is the ending point, then close bracket. And this would be normal if the data was on this sheet. Because data is not on this sheet, they will now add MBBS to this with an exclamation mark to show that it is being pulled from another sheet. Let's see. At the start, they added MBBS and then added an exclamation mark. Hold on, let me put this into X speed. So make it okay, it's into X already. So now let me apply that to the sheets. I'll go to descriptive statistics here. You start every formula with equal to, right? This is average. Once you start typing, it shows up. Open brackets, automatic if you clicked. Then you type in the cells M2 colon. This colon is in M2 to M1684. Then close your brackets and you press enter. But there's a problem. Remember that problem. So now we pull data from the other sheet by putting in the name of that sheet, MBBS with an exclamation mark. And you can see it returns the correct value. So this is what you do for average. And this is the formula bar, so you can always come here to edit your formula and type things in. Let's get back to the video. That's for mean, right? So now for median, because you've already gotten the mean, the median, the maximum, and the minimum are quite simple. The only difference, you copy and paste the same formula, but you change average to median, you change average to maximum, you change average to minimum. That's just the only difference. So you copy and then you paste in each of these ones and change the name of the function. So that's what they did for each one. As you can see, for this is for median, they pasted it in, erased average, and put in median. So let's quickly do that. And when you want to copy, that's why I put this in here. You click on the mean. Although it shows numbers, you can see the formula here. So you have to copy that formula. To copy it, you highlight, you copy, and you paste. In order to highlight, you come here and click. You click and you drag. That's one way of highlighting. Or you click, then you press Ctrl A to highlight. So once it has highlighted everything here, you then press Ctrl C to copy, and then come to the median, the point where you want this formula to be, and press Ctrl V. Now it's paste. This is an error because I highlighted everything by mistake. So I come just to this median box and press Ctrl V, and it pastes. If you don't want to use the functions Ctrl, you can just right click and you see copy, you see paste. But you need to highlight first with the formula. So now we change average to median. And then press enter. This is everything. So you do the same thing for maximum, Ctrl V. Again, that same error because he highlighted everything. Make sure that you're clicking only in the cell, Control V. Then you come to the formula bar and erase average, put in maximum. Maximum is max. Press enter. And this is the maximum. And then you do the same thing. Control V and change average to minimum. Minimum is mean. And press enter. And that is it. So you can see that's done. Let's go to the maximum parts. You can see the copied median came down here to, let me make this full screen. Came down here to maximum and erase the formula. It's just be max. Press enter and then did the same for minimum. So that's it. The next one is repeating the same things with age. So they went down to age and did the same thing. So let me just do the first one and then you can follow along with the video. Just for a recap, what's this here? So equal to, we are doing average. So average, you can then click on average. We are pulling from MBBS, exclamation mark. Then start the cell. We want M2 to, our colon is 2. M1864. 1684. Then close bracket and press enter. And that is that. So you can continue with the video to see how they did the rest of them. The next thing is creating a new sheet and deleting. Remember, we've already done creating a new sheet. Press the plus. And to delete, you press the plus, then to delete, you go to this drop down arrow here and choose delete. That was the next step that was taken. And the next thing was removing outliers. So they sorted and they deleted. Now let's see what that means. So you highlight the whole document, then you go to data and go to sort range. Okay. So in this sort range, then go to advanced range sorting options. So under the advanced options now, the next step that they took, let me fast forward this a bit because it's a bit slow. I'm sure they were explaining things in the class. So they checked this box, which is data has a header row, because there's a header row in this data. Remember, I mentioned that a header row are the names of the columns. So you check whether your data sheet has a header row, and if it does, whenever you see this option, you check it. So the next thing is, what are you sorting by? So they chose to sort by, okay, let's see. Just sort by trip duration in minutes. Now, sorting means they are either starting from arranging all the data from A to Z or Z to E, so ascending or descending order. That's basically it. So let's see what the results will be. So they chose Z to E, meaning that to go from the bottom to the top instead of top to bottom. So now let's see the results. Let me make this full screen. And you can see trip duration in minutes. Where is it? Up here. Trip duration in minutes is here. And then you can see it goes from Z. It goes in descending order now instead of ascending order. So that's for sorting. So the reason why they did this, remember that this one is removing outliers. What are outliers? Outliers are data that are drastically different from the rest of the data. So they skew the data. Now, if you look at this sheet, everything is sort of close together, hundreds, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Then you see a 6,500. So this is drastically different from the rest. So they do this sorting to see it in descending order and then delete this particular one that would make the data look abnormal. And you can do it also in ascending order and look whether the lowest value is too low and also delete that. So that's removing outliers. So that was what was done here. Okay, that's what was done here. Let me skip forward a bit. Okay, so you can see them deleting this cell now. what they did was the highlighted row 2. So this cell is in row 2. They went here to 2 here and highlighted it. Right click and click on delete row. So when you do that, that row is deleted and you have your outlier is gone. And skip forward a bit. Yes, you can see there's no 6,000 here anymore. So that's it for removing outliers. I'll just quickly do that here. You go to NBBS. So the first thing is highlighting the entire sheet, right? Go to this point, this top left corner, this gray one below the name box. As you click on it, the entire sheet is highlighted. Then you go to your data, and under your data, you go to sort. When you go to sort range, you choose advanced range sorting options. My data has a header row, and I choose to sort by trip duration in minutes. Choose Z to A. Now remember, this sheet has already been worked on, so you probably not see that 6,000. But if you go to trip duration in minutes, they've deleted 3,000, 6,000 already. So it's just 3,000 that's here. You highlight the row, click on this number 2 here, highlight it, then right click and delete row, and that's outlier deleted. So that is what was done in that video.